My name is Daniel Betancourt. I'm the President and CEO of Finanta, and we recently started Finanta Credit Union that we're going to launch on December 5th here in Philadelphia. So Finanta is a CDFI, Community Development Financial Institution, and that's a certification from the U.S. Treasury Department. And the Treasury Department does have a fund to support community lending organizations called the CDFI Fund, and that's what we're here to talk about today. The CDFI Fund is a grant-making organization in the federal government to support community lending organizations. It was formed in 1994 under an act of Congress, and it typically gets about $300 million a year for the entire country. There are over 1,000 CDFIs. I would say the average award may be about $1 million per year per CDFI. Why is the CDFI fund so important? It's one of the few sources of grant capital into our loan funds that there is out there. And it allows us to leverage up or borrow money from private investors, foundations, and even banks. And so it's a very critical source of capital for us to bolster or strengthen our balance sheets. And then we go out and borrow private capital. And the whole goal, depending on the type of CDFI that it lends, is to, let's say, lend more, particularly like small business owners, among many other specialized lending that CDFIs do across the city. So what happened recently, March of 2025, you saw a whole backlash from the federal government on characterizing CDFIs, let's say, as DEI work. And in fact, the broader conversation is CDFIs are bipartisan, supported by both Democrats and Republicans. There's a caucus in the Senate that has 14 Republicans and 14 Democrats, so there's very bipartisan support of CDFIs because we work in red states, we work in blue states, or however you want to call it, purple states. It has experience at, and we work in Appalachia and rural areas and urban areas. So I think the idea of trying to paint CDFIs as doing one area or another is a very limited way of thinking, in my personal opinion. Recently, we know with the government shutdown, we all experienced that here in October, November, the longest shutdown in U.S. history. And one of the measures or tactics was to send employees home, through the workforce reduction, and the CDFI fund was part of that. So many thousands of employees were essentially terminated. We saw recently that there was a Senate compromise, and eventually the House agreed, and the President voted for it, and that was to end the shutdown. And what ultimately in that agreement, they agreed to bring those employees back. So as far as I understand, the employees that were reduced in workforce are going to come back and restart the CDFI fund. That's the intention, because if there is an allocation of about $300 million, so they can grant it to CDFIs across the country. So our expectation is they will release a notice of funds this year, and they have not done it yet. My understanding is that the OMB has agreed to release that NOFA to the CDFI fund so they can then in turn re-grant that money out to CDFIs across the country. The impact is, you're working with your clients out there, small business owners, with the expectation that you're going to have loan capital. I take the optimistic view. Finanta is a 30-some-year organization. It has plenty of lending capital. But for example, last year we lent $80 million in the greater Philadelphia area, hundreds of loans, thousands of clients that we work with every year. But where it's really would impact us, if the government leaves the CDFI space, eventually we will have to find other sources of capital, particularly grant capital, to continue to meet the demands of our communities. In the short term, it is nerve-wracking for our employees. In the intermediate term, it would affect the growth of Finanta and our ability to help small businesses across the region. As a son of an immigrant, having come in here speaking Spanish, I think hope is in our DNA. We believe in the philanthropy community that have stepped up. We believe in our state government has really stepped up to support CDFIs, the broader foundation community. And we hope that the federal government will be a partner, as it always has. We do know, and this is where I am very hopeful, that we have bipartisan support, and we rely on that. I do think that our messaging needs to be much broader. I think that there's a thinking that community lending and CDFIs only focus on one particular part of the community. And in fact, we're serving all parts of America.